The 17th century Dutch Baroque artist Johannes Vermeer is one of the most popular and intriguing painters in the history of art, which begs the question, why? What makes his work so special and appealing? Is it because there are only 35 paintings known by him? Because we know very little about his life? Because his works have a timeless appeal? In this video, I will discuss the secret behind the popularity of Vermeer's paintings, which I believe comes down to three things. First, many of his works are depictions of a frozen moment in time, begging us to ask the question, what happened before and after the scene we see in the painting? And many of his works also trigger the question of what is going through the mind of the person depicted. A second element that makes the works by Vermeer stand out is the harmony and balance in them. Vermeer was a true perfectionist, spending several months on a single painting, searching for a visual harmony that strangely pleases many viewers. And he was not afraid to spend an extra month changing one minor detail in the composition of the painting to find the perfect balance. A final element of Vermeer's popularity is the way he incorporated light in his works. With incredible precision and patience, he painted the shadows and shades in his work as a result of the sunlight entering the room. Adding a little shimmer or glimmer here or there can make an enormous difference and may be the reason why his Girl with a Pearl Earring is one of the most famous artworks in the world. Before diving deeper into these three reasons for Vermeer's popularity, I would love to hear from you in the comments below if you believe there are other reasons for Vermeer's universal appeal and which of his works is your favorite. To see how Vermeer engages us in his paintings, let's start with the milkmaid, showing a kitchen maid in a plain room carefully pouring milk into an earthenware container to make bread pudding. The simple questions that may come to mind are whether she is all alone there, whether it is as quiet as it looks, if anything is going through her mind, or whether she is just mechanically performing her task. Another example is Woman in Blue reading a letter. In her case, it is clear what she is doing, but what is in the letter? Is it a love letter or something more serious? What is going through her mind and what will she do next? And this girl reading a letter in front of an open window may raise similar questions. These are some of the examples of very simple questions that make people spend a little bit more time with the works of Vermeer than many other artists. Two other examples are Vermeer's works of the astronomer and the geographer. We see the same man in two different activities, busy with his profession. But what is written in the book in front of him, and what is he checking out on the globe? Now, of course, Vermeer is not unique in creating art that raises some of these simple questions, and it is the combination with his harmony and balance, and the way he incorporates light that make people spend more time with his works than average. The harmony and balance in the paintings of Vermeer are another factor contributing to his popularity. And again, he was not the first nor the last artist to search for the pleasing effect of harmony in his works. A century before, Raphael, for example, also had a talent for creating pleasing and harmonious works with his triangular compositions, like in his Madonna of the Goldfinch. Vermeer was not afraid to leave some white space in his paintings, like we can see in this lady standing at the Virginal. Well, it is not exactly white space, as he carefully included the shadows on the off-white wall, but we will get back to that later. In this work, Vermeer chose for a limited number of decorative items and activity going on in the room. The interior looks tidy, and Vermeer experimented extensively on where to put the paintings on the wall. For example, would moving the smaller painting with the gold frame a little to the left or up improve the composition? Or should that wall painting be taken out? In the end, you can see how Vermeer chose for a similar distance between the left wall in the small painting and the distance to the larger painting, as well as keeping the distance between the top of the small painting and the ceiling about similar to the distance between the bottom of both paintings. Another typical aspect of Vermeer's works was that he used a pretty limited number of colors in his palette, with which he carefully created his shades. In many of his works, we see the return of colors like yellow, ochre, brown, grey and ultramarine, which was one of the most expensive colors in the world and about which I made a separate video last week. And this harmony and calmness also comes back in the two city views he created, including View of Delft and the Little Street. As alluded to earlier, Vermeer was a true perfectionist, and if there's one element in which that shows best, it is the way in which he incorporated light into his paintings. Just look at the off-white walls in his Woman with a Lute and Woman with a Pearl Necklace. We can see the source of light, which is the sunlight entering through the window on the left. The parts of the wall closer to the window receive more sunlight and are thus of lighter color than the areas further away. Woman with a Water Jug is another such example, where areas of the wall that receive more sunlight are painted with relatively more white than the areas that receive less sunlight. And as the windows only opened a little bit, we can see that not only the areas more to the right are darker, but also the areas toward the bottom, and this effect is even more pronounced in his Woman holding a balance. And the impact of the sunlight is not only visible on the walls, but comes back in every element of the painting, as we can see in Girl reading a letter at an open window. Look at the shadows of the curtain on the left, the tablecloth, the fruit, the letter, the outfit of the girl, and even in her reflection in the window. There is so much more to tell about Johannes Vermeer and his works, but the main point of this video is to illustrate 3 of the reasons why the works by Vermeer appeal to so many people. The intrigue of his scenes that capture a frozen moment in time that engage us, the harmony and balance in his paintings, and the exceptional way in which he incorporated light. Now there are more reasons that contribute to his appeal or are important underlying factors for his success, including the way he mixed his pigments, the way he applied the underpaint, and the expensive pigments that he was able to use. And if you feel there are other factors missing here, just share them with us in the comments below. I want to finish with a recent scientific discovery about one of Vermeer's works. Until recently, Girl reading a letter at an open window looked like this. But 40 years ago, scientific research discovered a hidden image of Cupid on the wall in the background, and it is now scientifically proven that this Cupid was part of the original painting by Vermeer, and that after his death, someone else removed it. The painting was restored and the Cupid is back. And the point that I want to make here is that during the restoration, dirt was removed from the full painting and we can now better see the original colors that Vermeer used. You can see how this restoration makes a difference not only in the brightness of the colors, but also in the way that Vermeer captured the light entering this room. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment down below if you have any questions or observations or just want to share your favorite work by Johannes Vermeer. Thank you for watching.